said with these vertical branches, what it ends up doing is splitting the tree. So if you connect it to some of these vertical branches, they got a big ego. Listen, every time they come around you, they want to dictate how things are going to be done. You know, oh, you can give your opinion on it, but I already mapped everything out how we going to do that. So why am I going to give you my opinion if you done already mapped out how everything going to be done? My opinion is not even valuable. So you connected to them, but they only want you around because they feel like they can boss some people around. They can tell you what to do, how to do it, what to say. And then the very minute you go ahead and stand up to that vertical branch, now it's going to be a problem. Because you don't understand who I am. You don't understand my title in the church. Ain't nobody stunting your title in the church. There's a lot of people in the church with titles. And a lot of them pay for it. Come on. Don't go around throwing your titles out. Nobody's interested in your title. You doctor, bishop, apostle, evangelist, deacon, deaconess, so-and-so. That does nothing. That does nothing. You can put how many doctorates or how many degrees you want in front of your name. If your life ain't living what you preaching, it means nothing. It means nothing. You are nothing more than a sounding cymbal that get clashed. That's the word. You a sounding cymbal. So you realize those vertical branches that try to dominate your life, try to dominate your every move. God said this is the season for pruning them things. You got to cut them vertical branches. Now here's the last one. The last one is that excess fruit. Now this fruit is connected to the tree, but the fruit is really in competition with the fruit next to it. Yeah, this a competition thing. We're going to see how fast we both can get to where we got to get. So we in competition. We the same fruit. We got potential. Going to the same marketplace, but you want to beat me there. So this is what you'll realize about those trees and that fruit. When life takes you through the beating, the pressing, and the shaking, that weakly attached fruit in your life, they won't be anywhere to be found. Listen, it's many of us in here right now who might have been the most popular in high school, had a boatload of friends. Every weekend they hitting you up. This way we going this weekend. You down, you going. You know, at first you start out, yeah, I don't want to go, but I'm going to go. But then God starts to mature you in the word. And you begin to say, nah, you know what, I ain't going this weekend. Then they'll check back with you next weekend. Then you say, nah, I ain't going this weekend. Now they're going to start to want to know what's going on with brother or sister so-and-so. What's going on with sister so-and-so or so-and-so. Then what happens is, what you begin to realize is, the more God begins to transform you, the more life begins to shake you, the more God begins to shape you, and the more God begins to change you, those very fruits that was connected to your tree, they won't be there for long. Don't even worry about it. When you get enough shaking going on in your life, them so-called friends that got your back, they won't be nowhere to be found. Believe me, nowhere to be found. I tell you what, you go through enough shaking in your life and see how many people still want to be around you. You go through enough trials and tribulations in your life and see how many people still running to be attached to you. But prior to that, everybody wanted a piece of the tree. Everybody wanted to be a part of that tree because you know why? They said that tree going somewhere. So everybody want to be connected to the tree because if the tree go anywhere, I want to say I was there from the start. You ain't fooling nobody. You ain't fooling nobody. See, that's why God take us through the shaking, the pressing. He take us through the beating because he exposed who really ain't for you when you're going through. So don't sit there and get upset. Talking about so-and-so used to love me so much, they don't even want to call. No, don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. You know why? You know, because it told me in looking at the tree, it told me that the tree would have fewer fruit, but of better quality. Listen. And the enemy really do this to us young people, not just us, but even as seasoned saints. This is what the enemy will do. The enemy will think you going somewhere with the more people you got in your camp. The bigger your camp, the more likes you get on Facebook, the more followers on Twitter, you think you doing something. You going somewhere. They all attached to me. I'm doing something, right? Because you at the top. But then that shaking takes place. And those followers begin to fall off. You know why? Because it's somebody else they feel that's headed to the top. So they disconnect from you because they got the clamp on to something else. So listen, you might have fewer fruits, but they are of better quality. So this is what we understand. And getting ready to close, this is what we understand. We're not going to get caught up in the quantity of the fruit, but we want to examine the quality of the fruit. So your tree could have 100 fruits on it, but only 3 of them are good. 100 fruit on your tree, but I can only eat from 3. But then I go over here to this tree, and this tree only got 4 little fruits on it. But every one of them fruits is ripe. Every one of them fruits, they ready. You know what? This tree just ain't putting out no any old thing. So this tree ain't worried about quantity. This tree want to produce quality. Now listen, I'm not going to read through 1 through 8, but this is what I'm going to tell you. And this is what we're going to take from it. It's 2 things that God does in the pruning process. And we're going to close out. They can start playing some music. It's 2 things that God does in the pruning process, right? All right, he cuts back and he cuts off. Now listen, remember this. It's going to be some cutting, all right? Don't be surprised. You got to cut some things. But listen, some things he's just going to cut back. Some things he got to completely cut off. And the word let us know. Now listen, it told us in the word right here. We got the verses. We can read it. It lets us know that the branches that didn't produce anything, he cut off. That's what it said. He said, but the branches that produced fruit, he just pruned. So both of them got cut. One just got cut off. One just got cut back. Listen, it's some things and some people that God has taken out of your life. You thought they really had your interest in your back, and they didn't. But this is the catch. God is saying, son or daughter, stop crying for me to give you those things back. Stop asking for those things back that I cut off. I cut them off because they didn't mean you any good. So why are you asking me as the Father who loves you, who nurtured you, who nurtured you, who take care of you, to give you back something that wants to kill you? But we constantly begging for that very thing that keeps hurting us. But then God said, it's some things that I just cut back. He said, it's some things that's getting overgrown in your life. And it's beginning to cover up the fruit. The fruit is there, but it talks about the overgrown. The leaves starts to flop all over the fruit and you can't see it. So what the gardener does, he just cut that back. He don't cut it all off the fruit. He just cut it on back so the fruit can show. Sometimes in life, we find ourselves so caught up, he told me, that sometimes if you don't do it on your own, he said, I'm going to have to cut some things back. He said, and I'm going to have to cut them back because it's covering up your fruits. It's real. It's real. It's real. See, God talked to me through this. It ain't about him talking to y'all. God talked to me. And there's some times when some things start to grow all out of control. And they start to cover up some things that God wants to do. And God says, son or daughter, Either you better prune it, or I'm going to prune it. Either you better cut it, or I'm going to cut it. He said, and when I cut it, you going to sad. But you just understand it's a healing taking place. So you will see him start to cut some of the things we love. He'll cut them back because it's taking up too much of what God wants to do. If everybody would stand as we close out.